You're really proud of the defensive effort. You guys that know us, I mean, we feel we've got to get that locked down early. You look at Jemiah Mashak's line, and it's not very impressive. But from our line, I mean, he was just dominant. Guarded every position on the floor, guarded their post player, and just does all the things that go into winning. And just his effort was great. I thought everyone effort defensively was there. Hard team to guard. They run really good stuff. We knew they were going to shoot a lot of threes. I knew there would be a lot of long rebounds. I thought they competed hard. I really, you look at the stat sheet, people will look at Zakai's turnovers, but when they cut it to 9, he took the game over. And I thought really in the second half, I thought Felix settled in and did some great stuff around the rim for us. But a lot of good things. Got to get a lot better. Like every coach this time of year would sit here and tell you 2 games into the season. A lot of room for improvement. But really just our defensive effort was and when they made the push to get back in it, we weren't very good. We got away from our scouting report and probably didn't play as hard as we needed to there, and which is a tendency sometimes with players when you get a lead. But again, when it got there, Zakai really responded with those threes. Well, I mean, like I said, you guys saw practice. It wasn't one of his better days, and certainly he got tired of me getting after him. But the fact is, I thought the play of the game for him and his teammates was when he went in early and tried to dunk the ball left-handed. And he did respond, and we expect it from him. And he's got so much more. There's so much more to his game than he's put out there yet. And as a coaching staff, we've got to get it out of him. His teammates want him to give it to us, and they know he can. And but it's all new for him. I mean, think about it. This is a whole new level for him. Everything's new program in terms of, he came from an outstanding program at North Florida. Terrific coach there, Matt Driscoll, but they play totally different than we play. And so for him to try to pick up in a short time what Jemiah Mashak and Zakai and really our young guys, they're going to be really good players for us. He's working at it, but I know he realizes it's a lot harder than he probably thought.
How encouraging was it for the offense to kind of have those struggles in the first half of the offense still build have to make success?
Well, it was our defense. It really was. It kept us in there, and again, like I said, they really well coached basketball team and run hard stuff. They keep you moving, and sometimes our offense will sputter like that because you guys know Zakai, there's no one that's going to play harder on the floor defensively than him. He's normally doing it 94 feet. And when you play that hard and you put teams deep into possessions like we do, I mean, we expect to get teams deep into the clock defensively, and when that happens, we're going to end up with some kind of ball screen, which probably 85% of the time he's the guy that's getting tagged. And for him to keep fighting through that and play with the stamina that he does is really impressive. But him losing the ball, again, you got to give them a little bit of that credit too, because they were attacking him pretty well, not giving him any gaps to get through. But again, it's a long game. Whether you're winning or losing, I just told him we got to keep playing regardless, and we did. Well, again, what we learned, like I said, we just went to a little horn set, put it in Zakai's hand, and he's done it many times where, they go under a play, he's not afraid to shoot. He had a long one the one that went in at the clock. You don't get many of those, but we did that to settle him down a little bit, trying to give him a chance to go either way he wanted to go. And but we think Cade has a chance. Our goal for him is to be another Jemiah Mashak. That's our goal for him, and it's a lofty goal as a coaching staff, and it's a lot for him. There's no doubt he wants to do it, and there's no doubt he has the ability to do it. It's just the more he can get out on the court when the lights are on and play and get comfortable, he'll get better with all of it. Every part of his game, he'll get better.
Rick, Louisville is kind of, as a program, trying to get back to national prominence, if you will. When you first took over at Tennessee in those first 2 seasons, you did make the tournament. What did you kind of see as the key as finally turning the corner of being able to win a game like today?
Well, again, Pat's going to do a great job. There's no doubt. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's been here, and everyone uses the word culture. Well, everybody has a culture, and that will be the hardest and first thing that he will get it. And it took us a couple of years to get it where we wanted it. The game's changed from 10 years ago, though. There was no transfer portal back then. We decided that we were going to recruit guys to fit our system. We didn't care if they were 2-star, 3-star, 4-star. We didn't care. We went a long time without recruiting any quote-unquote 5-star players. And we believed in what we were trying to do. Coaching staff was all in on it. But the key is creating what your identity is going to be, the single biggest thing. And we have always tried from us, you go on the road, there's just like tonight. There came a time in that game where they, as we know, this is one of the great crowds in college basketball, and they were waiting just to blow the top off. And when we made some plays offensively, but still it got back to where we got stops. And that's the one thing that we said on nights when we don't shoot well, we've got to put ourselves in position to win every night, and the only way we can do that is defensively. And when we really got to that point, and it took a while. I think it's going to be even harder today with the portal because, as I mentioned, with Chaz, with Igor, who played today, we're asking them to do something at the level that they've never been asked to do, and they've only got a couple months to try to figure that out. And but they're older, so we expect them to be able to pick it up quicker. But it's a different game than it was 10 years ago in terms of how the recruiting goes with the portal and all that.
Last two, Ryan. What did you learn about Chaz and Igor kind of playing in this type of environment?
Again, I thought Igor drive was a big play. I thought that was a big play for us. I thought his three was a big play. It came in flow. He's a guy that we know can shoot the ball. I mean, he's got a history of being a 38, 39% three-point shooter. He got in foul trouble early. Would have played more, obviously, than he did tonight. But Chaz, pretty cool guy, calm guy. You guys watch practice. I mean, he is the main target for me pretty much every day because I see what he can be. And I would say Igor, too. Both of those guys are guys that I know that, going back to the other question about getting them there quickly, coaches can never quit on their team. And you can't quit on players, even if they might frustrate you day in and day out by not picking up the little detailed things. But it's our job to stay after it because we're not going to ask them to do something they can't do. But we're proud of both of those guys. I mean, it's new, and they know that they're important, and we need them to grow quicker maybe than they might want to. But I can tell you they both care a lot. They really care about their teammates, and they both care about the game.
Rick, in what ways did you see your defense affect their offense?
Well, we're a physical team. I think that most teams we play against know that we're going to be physical, and that what that means is perimeter, trying to run through handoffs. People play out of zoom act, whatever they play out of. But we also have the ability to switch because we've got some guards that can guard. We've gotten pretty good at knowing how to do some kick out. When we get a guard there and if a post guy sees it, he can kick the guard back out. We felt one of the big keys today was perimeter defense. We felt that was really important because we're a heavy help team. We talk a lot about winning those one-on-one matchups on the ball, which is really hard to do because the guys can go with it. Transition defense was really important early. We really did a good job there because going back to what we've seen of their team right now, we knew we didn't want to them to get much in transition. We wanted them to play against a set defense. We felt the same way. We didn't want to play against their set defense. We wanted to try to get some, and I thought both teams played really, really hard. But we felt our perimeter defense had to be good. We obviously would like to post the ball, but we knew if we did, they were going to come hard after it, and not a lot of room down there. It's a lot easier to talk about posting it than it is to actually do it because, again, they're a well-coached team, and they had their plans. They stayed with it and missed shots. But, but we feel that even with our help defense, we can still guard the three-point line. And actually, we don't ever want to foul three-point shooter, which I think did we maybe once or twice. I know we did once, maybe twice. But it's our defense was really what we talked about all week, getting ready to come in here. And we did a couple of things offensively, but mostly what we need to do to be our out-of-bounds defense is all that, just to be as disruptive as we possibly could without fouling, which we did foul too much. But we just try to be disruptive and try to force people out of what they really want to do, knowing, again, they'll end up most times in some kind of ball screen, which over time takes its toll on Zakai because he's normally the guy in it.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Anyone who needs fantasy players will be available outside our locker room shortly.
Everybody's ready? Coach will open us up with a statement.
Obviously, extremely disappointed. Obviously, extremely disappointed. The Yum Center was electric. We asked people to come out. They came out big. It was as elite of a college basketball atmosphere as you're going to find anywhere. And the fact of the matter is they were the better team tonight. Punched us in the mouth from the very beginning. The only way to describe it is they beat us in almost every single facet of the game. My message to the players after the game was, I told them the one thing that they don't have to worry about is us being good. The one thing they don't have to worry about is us being good. We're going to become a good team. I believe that deep down in my soul with every single fiber of my being. We got a long way to go. It's a heck of a test. Obviously, you got to credit Coach Barnes and his staff and his players. Like I said, we take pride in rebounding, effort, deflections, those type things, and got our butt kicked on the glass. I don't know what it was exactly, but it was like plus 15, I think it was, on the glass. I felt like their physicality on the defensive end really disrupted our rhythm. We're a rhythm offensive team. I thought they took us out of what we wanted to do, and it not forced us, but it turned into too much one-on-one, too much dribbling, which is 100% not how we play on the offensive end. It's the first time this team has gotten punched in the mouth and faced adversity. Since June 5th, when I stood up here at my press conference and we signed this team, they've had a lot of attaboys and a lot of pats on the back and a lot of high fives. And, I mean what I've said over the last 8 months or whatever it is, 5 months since this team's been together. They've been phenomenal. It's a really, really good group. And I believe with everything I got that this team's going to end up being really good. But for the first time, get hit in the mouth and they're going to face adversity. And my challenge to them in the locker room was not the X's and O's that we have to clean up, because there's a lot of them. Like I said, almost every single facet of the game, I thought they were better than us today. But that's for tomorrow. That's for tonight at 2 a.m. when I'm watching tape and I'm breaking down and I'm cleaning up the X and O's and ball screen execution on both ends of the floor, our defensive ball screen, whatever it is. But that meeting in there was about walking out and having our circle tighter than ever. Walking out of that room and having a resolve about them, you know, as they go back to their dorms and like all kids do, and they check their social media, and all the people that have been telling them how good they are, just crushing them, because that's how it is. That's the world. You know, I just told them, don't blink. Don't blink. Look to the guy to the right of you. Look to the guy next to you. Love him more than ever. Don't blame anybody else. Don't complain about anything else. Don't get defensive. Just know that we got to go back to work on Monday and get better, and we will. That's it.
Pat, there's, I guess, an acclimation process or something, getting used to that. Just the crowd, atmosphere, physicality of Tennessee. Was there any point, maybe late first half, or any point in the game where you felt like your guys kind of started to kind of kick in a little bit and get a little bit more with the challenge that was being thrown?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think, you know, they did. They punched us in the mouth. We were on our heels at the beginning of the game, and obviously the crowd was revved up like crazy, and, you know, they got off to a pretty significant lead at the beginning. But I thought our guys rallied. You know, there were a couple times where it was getting close to 10 or single digits, and you could feel the crowd just wanted something and get a little bit of momentum, and we just couldn't get over the hump. They would make a play. They would make a big shot. They would get a big stop. And, you know, but, you know, and then late in the game we called that timeout with, I don't know what it was, 4 or 5 minutes left. There was, you know, 2 or 3 possessions where it looked like, you know, the 5 guys that were on the floor, you know, had given up, right? I mean, no pun intended, but it looked like, you know, we waved the white flag. And we called a timeout, got after them, and they responded, went out and played hard, and continued to compete right down to the very end. We're going to play the Tennessees moving forward. We're going to play, you know, teams of that standard, and we're going to be ready for it next time. I can promise you that.
Coach, in terms of your half-court execution offensively, it really seemed like Tennessee's physicality at the point of attack kind of flustered some of the guys. What needs to happen to get better offensive execution? It just seemed like you guys couldn't get easy shots.
Yeah, it stunk. It stunk. And, again, you have to give credit to Tennessee. They're a very, very sound defensive team. They're extremely physical and didn't allow us to get into a rhythm. Blew up dribble handoffs, were very aggressive on ball screens, just muddied up the game, and it forced us to play without the normal flow. You know, I thought early on we were, you know, settling for just okay instead of trying to hunt great, as we say, on the offensive end. We talk about playing on the attack, getting downhill, touching the paint, putting foul pressure on them. I felt like we were playing around the perimeter a little bit too much in the first half. So, you know, I have to watch the tape. But you asked what we need to improve on the offensive end. I would answer you, everything. Everything. Our set play execution was porous. You know, our flow, our kind of play after the play wasn't good enough. Our special teams execution on baseline out of bounds was subpar. I mean, I could go on and on. The one thing I will never, ever, ever do as a head coach is ever blame the players, right? You know, I start with me first and foremost. Could have done a better job of getting our guys ready and preparing them and putting them in better positions. But, you know, we got a group of guys that are going to come back to practice on Monday, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, leaning forward, and nothing will change in terms of the energy at practice, in terms of our attention to detail and striving for excellence. But they exposed some things. There's no question about that. They exposed some things today. And what's going to allow this team to take the next step is to learn from the things, right, that they exposed, and then make sure that they don't happen again. That's my job. And then we have a veteran group with a lot of leadership that'll make sure that they have that same mentality as well.
Out of all the things that you thought that, they got exposed today on defense. I mean, you guys forced 20 turnovers, but they still shot close to 55% from the field. Just what on that end kind of stood out to you? Just
Yeah.
in terms of them just still getting their shots.
Yeah,
and-
just like the question he just asked on the offensive end, on the defensive end, everything. Everything. Start with it. Guard the ball, high hand closeouts, ball screen execution, or transition defense, not allowing second shots, hitting, attacking the ball. I mean, again, I have to watch the tape, but the answer is everything. And it'll be addressed and we'll be better because of this. Look, it stinks and it hurts, but if you attack it the right way, it becomes a positive down the road. Like my mentor used to say, there's this sound, thump, 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 and that's, there's a bandwagon, right? And then there's not that we have bandwagon fans. I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form, but like what happened today will be a positive for Louisville basketball moving forward. I would ask our fan base, I would ask our fans, I would ask our donors, just like I told our guys in that locker room, don't blink. Don't blink, right? This team, and I believe it, again, I'll say this with everything I got, is going to be really, really good. And if our guys do that, they put blinders on, they go back to work, they attack the next thing with excellence, the results are going to come, and then, we'll have that same energy that we had in here today. I told them there's a good chance that the next game won't have that many people at the game. But they're going to come back. They're going to be there again. So, again, I always praise our opponents. Tennessee was the better team, and we're going to learn from it.
How beneficial was it playing a game like this early as opposed to,
Yeah. As I sit here looking at you guys and looking at a box score where we just got our stinking butts kicked and it hurts like crazy, there's no question we needed that today. Josh, we're walking in, he's talking about, he's like, man, that's a tough second game. Like, I know I pushed you for that. I said, thank you. Thank you. That's exactly what this team needed. Because the things that ailed us today were exposed today by Tennessee, and now we get a chance to fix it. When you're playing the team in the Bahamas, or whether you're playing our 2 exhibition games, or you're playing, in Morehead's a new team with a new coach and all those things, we didn't get exposed the way we did today. And I will embrace this butt kicking. I've had my butt kicked before, and I'll probably have my butt kicked again. But we've done a little butt kicking as well. But, the response and what you learn from getting your tail kicked is the mark of a really, really good team. And I believe in those guys in that locker room. The normal feel or tendency or the human nature in me wanted to go in and just pound my fist and throw my notebook down and lose it. That's not it. Walking out of that room, it's about the resolve of our 25 strong. And then Monday at practice, we're going to have a phenomenal stinking practice. And we're going to get better because of it.
Pat, when you have an all new roster and new environment, don't you have to, when you face adversity for the first time, you learn probably a lot about your team, and don't you kind of have to at some point go through something like this?
100%. That's exactly right. Adversity's a great educator. Adversity's a great teacher. But if you don't look at it that way and you feel sorry for yourself and you put your tail between your legs and you look down when you walk into the student center, you walk into the grocery store, like you're not approaching it the right way. Unbelievable adversity for our team, and it's great, and we're going to learn from it.
Pat, even with all the adversity, all the things that went against you, you still, you got within 9 when Rain hits that 3. Bilding's got a bunch of energy, and then Ziegler hits the 3. Kind of the effect he had on the game as a point guard. I'm sure you can appreciate all the. I know he had 11 turnovers, but he did so much for them and hit some huge shots.
Yeah, I appreciate the beginning of that question because you sounded like my mom, who's going to try to make me feel good when I walk out of this press conference. So you blew some sunshine at me there at the beginning, but. Number 5 is a phenomenal stinking player. He was dominant today. He's the preseason defensive player of the year in the SEC for a reason. He wreaks havoc. You know, I believe in our guys. I believe in our guards. I know what they're capable of. Those guys feel terrible right now. And they're better than how they played today. I'm better than how I coached today. But you give that kid credit. You tip your cap to him. In big moments when we had a little bit of momentum and the Yums start rocking, he answered. I mean, even if it was a little bit of a prayer shot, like at the end of the shot clock, and it's what big-time players do. They step up and make big-time plays in big-time moments, and that's what that cat did. So I have a lot of respect for him, and there's probably a really good chance that we'll see these guys again down the road, and next time we'll be better.
All right, thank you.
To start by getting your guys' thoughts on, on the fan support today and just that being able to see, that big of a crowd show up for a game like this today.
Yeah, it was great to have everybody in here. We weren't pleased with the outcome. That was one of our goals this year, to go undefeated at home, and today we just didn't come out with the win. But I promise you that we're going to work as hard as we can to be able to be the best team that we can be, and that we know we can be. And we have a lot of potential with this team. We're not done. This is only the second game of the year. It's a great test for us. All new team, everybody's new. So it's a good test to know where we want to be at for the future, for March. And we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going, and it's only going up here.
What did you guys kind of learn about yourself as a team?
Yeah, a lot of it's just kind of handling adversity. From June to now, we haven't really been punched in the mouth like we did tonight, and I think how we handle that moving forward and going into practice Monday is kind of the next thing we need to focus on, and kind of just get better. Like what happened tonight, well, today happened. There's nothing we can do but learn from it, and I think this group of guys are still really positive and confident that we're going to be really good, and we are really good, and it's just a learning curve. So just handling this adversity is going to be a true test of character.
Kind of on a similar note, Pat wasn't just in here, said he told you guys that one thing you don't have to worry about is being that you're going to be a really, really good team. And so he kind of embraces this butt kick. How do you embrace the butt kick to become better once you get back to the basketball court?
Like I said earlier, Tennessee's a very good team. That's what we wanted. We wanted to play a very good team to start the season off, to see where we're at and what we got to get better on. I feel like the offense was very, very stagnant today. Then that's what we're going to get better at. We're going to be able to move the ball a lot quicker, get stops when we needed them. They hit a couple big shots, and for us, that's getting stops when we need to. At the end of the shot clock, when we're tapping our heads, and we got to be able to come out with those type of stops to get momentum.
For either one of you, how did their defensive intensity and physicality kind of affect you guys offensively?
Yeah, they did a really good job defensively and kind of trying to blow a lot of our stuff up, and it was kind of the first time we've really faced another team that's that caliber of defense. So just learning, I think a lot of it was on us on executing better. There was times where we probably should have pushed the ball in transition better off a make and things like that, where we were just kind of hurting ourselves. So yeah, it's just kind of learning after we've faced a really good defensive team.
One's for both of you guys. Chucky, I know you've played in front of some bigger crowds, but I don't know how many of you guys have played in front of 17,000, 16,000 people. Was there a moment where you kind of just had to adjust to that and let some nerves out for a moment today?
I guess so. New team, new faces. You could probably tell a lot of people had nerves going into this game, but it was a good test for us. I believe that this team, like I said, we're going to be a very, very good team. A team that can go make it down deep in March, and I believe in this team a lot, and so does everybody else. Nobody's hanging their heads in the locker room. Everybody's positive because we know we're going to be a really good team, and we're going to hit shots down the stretch, and that's what we didn't do today. We just didn't hit shots.
Chucky, you talked, or your coach talked about being exposed today, and you mentioned stagnation on offense. Was there anything else that stood out to you as something that might be easily corrected, or that certainly couldn't be corrected?
I know for myself, turning the ball over, 4 turnovers today. That's not who I am. I got to take care of the ball and treat every possession like it's our last possession, and that I just failed at that today. And I'm going to get better, and I'm going to get back to taking care of the ball. This is my last game turning the ball over that much.
A point, that first 10 minutes, it was like just getting used to the physicality and getting used to everything else. Was there a point where you felt like you felt a little more comfortable and you started to kind of get with the way the game was being played and matched it a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I think coming out the gate, Tennessee punched us in the mouth and kind of brought the physicality to us. And yeah, over the course of the game, we kind of make our run and try not to panic. And I think a lot of it's just learning throughout, and yeah, we lost the physicality today, so that's something that won't happen again for Louisville basketball. So yeah, it was just a learning curve for us.
Anything else for you, Stu? All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.